Yo, which is what goes here, and today I'm bringing you guys another comparison video between the STG and bar. And I wanted to make this comparison because I've been talking a lot about the NZ41 and the bar and how they both have become like the 1 and 2 AR options for Warzone at the moment, and the STG is kind of taking a step back in this current, I guess, situation that we have in Warzone. But I wanted to see if the STG was still capable of being at least the #1 AR, because it's definitely still a good AR, but is it a better option than the bar or NZ41, or is it truly the NZ41 and bar meta now? But before we do get into this comparison, I want to see if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 3,000. We still got quite some way to go, but every sub is greatly appreciated, and I'm, always very thankful for that. And also, man, if you guys could do me the favor of following me over at my Twitch channel at alwaysghost_, where I tend to stream when I can. Which right now hasn't been, I haven't really had the time, but in the times that I do have the time, the streams over there be pretty nice. But yeah, man, with that being said, let's get into the comparison. And here we have the recoil pattern for the STG, and I don't know if they ended up changing the recoil pattern on this base STG, because I don't remember it looking like that, but I haven't read any like recent patch notes, so I wouldn't know. I haven't really been keeping up with if they did do a secret change to the STG, and if they did, it's really not that noticeable, because it's still really easy to control, still has no recoil. And yeah, man, this STG though has had an interesting come up over the last few updates. This gun was always, in my opinion, like in the shadow of the automaton for the best Vanguard AR in the game until, was it season, I forgot what update it was. It might have been, if we're in season 3, then it was season 2, I believe, when it finally got like the huge buff and people started rocking it, and then I think I got like another buff the following week, and then it became like a really, really good AR and people were rocking with it. And now I do remember the STG getting a slight nerf on one of the last updates. Again, I think the secret buff or the secret nerf that may have happened that I'm thinking about has nothing to do with the actual thing that got nerfed with the STG. Which even then, I don't know what actually got changed to this gun. But all I know is this little change that they might have made has caused people to move over to guns like the NZ41 or guns like the bar. And the STG has been kind of getting forgotten. And don't get me wrong, this gun is still like really, really good. Like, I used it. It's not like it got nerfed completely just to the point where this gun is terrible. We don't need to use it. We could just use another weapon and call it a day. But no, like, this gun is still pretty good. And actually, I had a viewer recommend me using the 45 round mag, the damage mag. Have not gotten to use it yet. I definitely will use it very soon, just because I want to try it out to see if it does anything different. But he was saying that felt like the AMAX, the OG AMAX before the nerf, which hey man, I gotta get to that. I can't confirm nor deny if that's actually like how it feels. And if you guys would actually want to go experiment yourself, I think he just said to use the 45 round damage mag. So literally just, I think the class setup that I have in this video, or the class setup that you're rocking, just switch the 50 round mag with the 45 round mag. Test it out for yourselves. But if that actually ends up being the case, then this gun could even, in my opinion, shoot up to #1 if things like that are true. Where if I just switch the mag and this gun feels like one of the, like a really, really good AR again, then dude, then the bar and what's it called, the bar and NZ41 don't really stand a chance. But in this case, we're talking about the bar and STG. We already did the NZ41 STG. We already did the NZ41 bar. Now we're doing STG and bar. And we came to the conclusion, or I came to the conclusion, that the NZ41 versus STG, the NZ41, in my opinion, has the upper hand. Now, this is a little bit different because there's a few things that the STG does better than the NZ41, and a couple things that it does worse, obviously. And then the bar is like a gun right now that is just, man, going crazy with what it has to offer. And we're going to talk a little bit more in depth on that right now. So with that being said, let's move over to the bar and some stats so you guys get a better understanding of this comparison. We have the recoil pattern for the bar, which, as you can see, man, too crazy. I mean, this gun, to be honest, is like, such as a base bar has a slow fire rate. So if you use the bar without like fire rate attachments, like, it would be powerful, and it would be, although it would be slow in fire rate, like the recoil would be pretty non-existent, because it's kind of like it feels like a semi-automatic weapon on how slow the fire rate is, but at the same time it's not, because it's actually supposed to be fully automatic, and so you can hold down the trigger and you just keep shooting. But with the way I use my bar, and most people are right now, is we put on fire rate attachments, and this gun shoots extremely fast. The recoil at times doesn't feel that crazy, and the damage is absurd. Now the STG on the other hand already has a pretty decently fast fire rate, and I think I do put on fire rate attachments. I believe the Gorenko 50 round mag does increase the fire rate, and it makes the gun a little bit weaker with damage stats that aren't already all that crazy. And so I think that's probably the reason why the STG has felt kind of lackluster, because the NZ41 has a higher damage than the STG. If you guys watch my comparison between those two guns, you would understand. And then the bar, if you guys watched the last comparison, like, I mean, you already know this gun is ridiculous. So with that being said, to talk about the first test, we talk about fire rate. The bar has a 400 RPM to be exact, and then the STG has a 600 RPM. So the fire rate difference between both the two weapons is significant. Even when you put on fire rate attachments, like, yeah, I can put on the recoil booster along with the magazine that I already have on the bar and have a little bit more fire rate, but the fire rate difference just doesn't, it really doesn't matter, or at least in my opinion, it doesn't, especially with ARs. Like, if this was an SMG comparison, I would say fire rate and the difference of fire rate really would matter because it's a close range engagement. But the thing about ARs is you're not really expecting the fire rate to bail you out at close range because you're not using this gun for close range, you're using it for long range. So in my opinion, with ARs, I think it's all that matters is the damage, accuracy, and just how many shots you're gonna be able to hit, which I guess goes along with accuracy. Whereas like SMGs is about a little bit of damage, but more so how fast you can output your bullets when you're really close, because every bullet is gonna matter in a close range engagement. The same can be said for long range, but there's so many other variables in the long range engagement than there is in a close range engagement that just, like, I don't know, it makes like the fire rate not as important as it would be in a close range engagement. But again, that's just my opinion. That's how I view it, and just of my experience alone. Because listen, if we take a look at the stats for both these weapons, for 0 to 36 meters for the bar, you got 75 damage to the head, 45 to the neck, chest, stomach, upper leg, and arm, and then 41 to the lower leg and arm. 0 to 27.9 meters for the STG, you got 52 damage to the head, 39 to the neck, 36 to the chest, 33 to the stomach and extremities. So obviously the bar has a really big advantage in damage. And again, if you hit the bullets, right, that you need to hit with the bar, you're going to kill someone really, really fast. I mean, I guess the same could be said for the STG, but the STG is going to take a little bit more bullets because the damage is way lower. On the other hand, though, since its fire rate is a little bit faster, you're going to output more bullets over the course of time. But the thing is like, yes, you can get more bullets out, but like, if I hit all my shots with the bar, it doesn't matter how many shots you hit with the STG. I'm going to simply out damage you from long range, because like, if you take more into account like long range damage drop off, like the STG just won't be able to out damage the bar. It'll technically be able to outgun it in terms of fire rate, but the damage won't be able to compete. And the bar, I mean, like, you guys just heard the stats. That thing hits like a goddamn truck, bro. Like, it's going to out damage the STG and then just completely outgun it. And that's why, like, in the last video I said I would pick the bar as the best AR right now, because it's just, I mean, you really can't compete. This gun has a stupid fire rate for the damage that it's outputting, and the other guns just, well, the NC41 kind of comes close, but the STG just, like, as you can hear, man, out of all the 3 ARs that we've been talking about this last week, this one is the weakest one, and I mean, there's a reason why it's starting to kind of fall out of popularity. And to be honest, I needed to see at the numbers to really get a better understanding, because I was kind of I was a little skeptical to say that the STG was falling out, but to be honest, looking at these stats, I mean, I'm just going to say, like, how can you not see it fall out, you know? But moving over to the longer ranges, for 36 meters and above for the bar, you got 66 damage to the head, 39 to the neck, chest, stomach, and then upper leg and arm, and then 36 to the lower leg and arm. For the STG, 27.9 meters or above, you got 47 damage to the head, 35 to the neck, 33 to the chest, 30 to the stomach, and extremities. So again, the damage advantage is still in favor of the bar. This one's a little bit closer, but I mean, the headshot damage still remains significantly in favor of the bar. And yeah, man. In conclusion, bro, I do have to say that the bar at this point, I think, is the best AR in the game. The NZ41 does make a really close case. And I think between the NZ41 and the bar, it would just matter on personal preference. For me personally, I think the bar is the better AR, but a lot of you guys may think the NZ41 is. Now again, the STG is not a bad AR by any means. It's still a great AR, but it's not the number 1 nor number 2 option in Warzone at the moment. I feel like the bar in NZ41 has had a lot of buffs done to it, and those have worked because I think 1 and 2 are reserved for NZ41 and bar right now. Now, feel free to disagree with me on that. I would like to hear your opinions down below in the comments down below. But yeah, man, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one, and I'm out. Peace.